So, today is all about the superfoods and vitamins and minerals because as a nutritionist, I am really interested in, what people eat and how those vitamins and minerals translate through our physiology, through our bodies. And that's what's most important. So, first and foremost, I know there's a ton of questions about vitamins per se, the pills that you take each day. But I, as a nutritionist, like to say food first. So we're going to dive in, look at food, and then through the presentation, if you have any questions about the vitamins, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too, feel free to put them in the chat and we will do our best to muddle through all of that. So, we're going to talk about superfoods. So, what do you think makes a food super? Or have you seen any foods that are called superfoods? What do you think? Put it in the Q&A. I think the chat is disabled. Q&A is what we're using. Q&A for superfoods. What types of foods do you think qualify as superfoods? Anyone? See, my Q&A is still empty. Let me go over to chat, see if there's anything there. Oh, chat is turned off. So we've got Q&A for that. Q&A. If we can't, then that's fine. No worries. All right. So I'll just keep rolling. So superfoods are those foods that we see and hear about a lot. You may see them online, you may see them in magazines and people are just talking about them in social media. But they usually have a key health benefit. And they but the thing is that we will focus on celery and celery juice today. Uh, and we will focus on that and consider that one thing that item does as makes it a superfood. But it's really not the case because most foods, quote unquote superfoods, contain more than one nutrient. And we want to get all of the benefits from that item, not just focus on the one thing that it might do for us. Um, and the thing is that when we are focused on that one item for that one purpose, we feel that it won't help us overall. But generally, our superfoods help us in totality. So when we talk about vitamins and minerals, we want to talk about the total offerings. And you'll see some of those key foods in this presentation. And hopefully, what you'll walk away with is that there is no one superfood. There's no one special item that will give you all you need, the variety in your diet. All right. So superfoods contain super nutrients. So those are our vitamins and minerals, which is what we're really going to start focusing on, but also antioxidants. We hear that word a lot. Antioxidants also comprise our superfoods, nutrients in our superfood. And my favorite, if you've ever been in a session with me, I am going to talk about fiber until the cows come home. That is the big one. Fiber is very important for our diets. We don't get enough, we need more. And no matter what the question is, if you answer fiber, you're going to be right. So, with that, we want fiber in the diet, and that comes from a variety of foods, mainly our carbohydrates. So we want those in our diet. Next up is our fatty acids, our omega-3 fatty acids. They are very important because our body does not make them. And the interesting thing about most of the items on this list, our vitamins and minerals, is that our bodies, most of them, our bodies can't make on our own. So we need to ingest the food so that we can take in, and provide those vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, and probiotics. We need to give that to our bodies. And we get that through food. All right. So, vitamins, that's what we're here for. We're here to learn about vitamins. And first up, there are two types. There are fat soluble vitamins and there are water soluble vitamins. And if our chat was working, I would be asking you, what do you think they are? Name a few.
I'm
So,
able to see, sorry, Leslie, to cut you off.
yes.
I'm able to see what people are putting in the Q&A. So I can
Oh,
read stuff off to you. I have some
oh,
answers from
great.
earlier if you want to hear them.
Yeah, I can't see.
All right, we got avocado, wild Maine blueberries, arugula, other, I might say this word wrong,
Oh,
cruciferous vegetables, avocado, papaya, chia seeds, etc. We got a lot of answers in there.
thank you. I can see them now. For some reason, I had to click the button. There's a
Oh, no
button.
worries. We can read
And
it
I
off if you
clicked
need us
it.
to.
Oh, thank you. Yes, these are our fantastic, highly, 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 super, 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 super foods. Great answers in the chat. I see cruciferous vegetables in general. Ooh, somebody's getting fancy. And I see, ooh, specifically wild Maine blueberries. Okay. And arugula. Hold on to that thought, Hallie, with that arugula. And then I see Deborah also has avocado in the chat. So yes, these are all very, very, very great answers. So they contain a wide variety of vitamins, and some are fat soluble and some are water soluble. So if you think you know a fat soluble vitamin, put it in our Q&A and share. If you think you know some water soluble vitamins, put it in the Q&A. So let's see what we got out there, because those vitamins are really helps and are comprised of what we call antioxidants. They also provide the body energy, and they also participate in many, many, many of the enzymatic reactions that happen in the body. So, when we talk about vitamins and minerals, we are really talking about health at the cellular level. When you have our vitamins and minerals, our food has already been digested. So the fact that you like or don't like avocados is not a factor now. It's no longer a factor. You have eaten the item, and now your body has digested it and is ready to disperse it to the cells. They Our vitamins really help our cells to work more efficiently, which is why we need the superfoods in our diet, because the more superfoods we have, the more quote unquote nutrition our cells receive. Okay, I'm gonna pause there. That's because that's very important, that you know that your vitamins are really for the cellular level of your body. It really speaks to the efficiency at which your body will work, because there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of processes, biochemical reactions that are occurring. And your vitamins, and then soon we'll see our minerals, help with that. All right, let me see if I see anything for the vitamins. I see vitamin D. I see magnesium. Is magnesium a vitamin? Let's hold on to that thought. We got vitamin D. Yep. We got vitamin K, we got A and B, we got the complex, yes. So all of these are very important. Now our fat soluble are our A, D, E, and K. They are absorbed in they're fat soluble, and so they're absorbed kind of stored in the liver and through fat. Now, dietary fat is different than regular fat, but when we talk about fat, like around your midsection, so we want to make sure that we're getting the our dietary fats in because they come in different forms, and we'll see that as we go through. So we have many different forms of dietary fat because fat is one of our macronutrients. So in fats, we have our monounsaturated, we have our polyunsaturated, we have saturated fats, and then within that, they break down to fatty acids. So that's kind of like nutrition, really nutritioning, but we want to have a variety of fats in our diet because they offer a variety of these fat soluble vitamins. Okay. Fat soluble vitamins are very, very important, but we don't need a ton of them because our body will store them. Okay. So when we think about vitamin E and vitamin A, they come from a variety of different foods. And vitamin D is the one that we get. Anybody want to guess where we get vitamin D from? It's one of the ones that our body makes. Vitamin D. Our body will make vitamin D. So that's pretty special. The body is very wise. Yes, magnesium is a mineral, correct. Vitamin C is water soluble. Yes, it is. And we'll see that in just a second. So, when we look at vitamin D, we get that from sunshine, and there are a few spots that we get it from food. Small, small, small amounts, though, come from food. All right. I also want to pause on vitamin D as well, because there's also discussions about vitamin D and some of our fat soluble vitamins having an impact as hormones. So it's something to think about and how hormones are created, and that when we have a low vitamin D, we may feel effects in many different ways from being extra tired to if you're a woman of a certain age, maybe you have some hot flashes going on. So that vitamin D is very important to our overall health. All right, next up, we have our water soluble vitamins. And yes, they are the vitamin C and the B vitamins. Now, I just like to say for simplicity, you will pee these out. You will, they will wash right through the system. The body takes what it needs, and then the rest comes out in the urine. But that means we need to constantly replenish them. So the body is very wise that a lot of the foods that contain the water soluble vitamins are things we have to eat regularly. The body is very smart. So our B vitamins play a huge role in energy production, and not just your own when you think energy in here, I feel tired, but cellular energy. To oversimplify, if you feel tired, your cells are tired. So give them some B vitamins. So we want that in our diet. And of course, vitamin C, a lot, and I'll just say healing. Very healing, immune function, two very important areas, energy and immune function for our water soluble vitamins. They do a lot more, but we're just going to leave it at that. The B vitamins come in and they just think of how they make a machine run. So your cells are able to function at a higher level more efficiently because they start the chain reaction that the cells need so that they can be full and functional. All right. A lot there. Can you get a copy of the presentation? Yes, I will provide a PDF. All right, the skin and exposure. I see all the answers. So we're going to move on to our next piece, which is minerals, because the time is rolling. So minerals, there's two. Oh, I put it wrong. There's macro. This should be macro minerals. Macro minerals, the bigger ones. And then we have our micro minerals, which are also called trace minerals. So macro minerals, we need those, and we have those in foods that you see often, mostly in things like proteins and beans and nuts and seeds. Um, and you'll see those. They're kind of like the building blocks that give structure, help to give structure to things. Because if you think of calcium, you think of bones, right? Larger systems, sodium is huge in the way that our body, it has a large role in how our way regulates fluids. So it's a big job for it to do, right? Magnesium has a big job with muscular function. So we have a lot of musculature in our body, so we need magnesium to keep things going. Now, things like zinc and iron in our macro minerals, we don't need it as much, but we need it, and they play a great role in biochemical reactions, making sure the cells are doing what they need to do, getting things to the next step. So when the cells are spinning, how do we get it all the way around? How do we get there? That's very simplified, but if you want to envision it, what is that doing? What is zinc doing? Well, it's helping it get from one step to the next step. It's helping the chemical reaction move from here to here. So we have all that going on right now as we're sitting here. That's body is amazing. It's amazing. So with that, now that we have some baseline, whew, let's look at what we shouldn't do, kind of, sort of, because we may take a ton of those pills, might take a ton of vitamins, and we want to avoid things together. We want to avoid large doses of calcium and iron. We want to avoid large doses of zinc and copper because they kind of work against each other. Large doses of calcium and magnesium because things can, kind of try to go against us. And we don't want to, sometimes the absorption rates are better if you take them separately and take them at different times, or maybe take one and have some food and take the other. Taking fat soluble vitamins with fats is better because it helps with absorption. That's one of the biggest questions. What is the thing with absorption? You can take calcium and magnesium together, but we just don't want to take them in high dosage because it may not be as effective. We have multivitamins. So keep in mind that the multivitamin is one of the best that you can take because they've already done the math for you. They've already done it for you. So one of the recommendations I give is take a multivitamin. Leave it at that. You don't have to take extra unless you've had this conversation with your physician and you found that, you need extra. Now, if you take extra vitamin C, extra vitamin B, because you're going to pee them out, you might be wasting your money if you're doing a multivitamin and taking extra. So just keep that in mind when you're doing that. So some things that go great together are your vitamin D and your calcium. They like each other. It's fascinating relationship between those two, the vitamin and the mineral. And if you notice, a lot of them are vitamins and minerals. So we have vitamin C and your iron. They go together, they like each other. Um, they help to absorb, but sometimes it's best through food. It's always better through food. So we want to make sure that we're just paying attention, but a multivitamin is the best way to go. All right. So anybody, we had in the chat some of our top items. So I'm going to skip this question just for time. But someone said cruciferous vegetables. Ooh, we're fancy. Yes. As a nutritionist, I always like to say, eat your vegetables. They are the easiest way to get the vitamins and minerals that you need. Not in your totality, but this is why you need a variety in your diet. I know that preference plays a huge role. I like broccoli, but I don't like cauliflower, or I like carrots, but I don't like, I don't know, whatever your vegetable is. So your preference can play a role, but your preferences can also hinder you in the vitamins and minerals that you receive. So not only can it hinder you in the vitamins and minerals you receive, but can hinder you in the phytonutrients. So now we're going deeper. Each vegetable, each fruit has its own set of fantastic phytonutrients, which are smaller molecules that act as antioxidants to help us be even more healthier. So we want to make sure that we're getting all of the benefits from all of the things Mother Nature gave us. So our glucinolate, ooh, hopefully I said that. When you feel that bitterness and you say, I don't like cauliflower, it's bitter. That is you are tasting the healthy benefit right there. When you cook the broccoli and you smell that sulfury smell, that is the sulforaphane. So the food will tell us what it's doing. And someone had mentioned arugula earlier. That bitterness is great for digestion. We want that in our diet because it helps us for digestion. And when we have things like the indoles, it is very helpful for our metabolism and it helps to support estrogen. So if we're feeling like we're, having a hot flash or maybe we have menstrual cramps, we want these types of foods in our diet, especially as women, because it helps with the metabolism and support of estrogen. All right. So how do you eat those? Well, have them in a frozen medley. Throw them in a salad. Do anything you want with these. They're very versatile. Put them in a stir fry, soups. You can do anything, but just add it. One of my favorite ways to have broccoli and cruciferous vegetables is with broccoli slaw. It is so simple and easy. You can add it with anything, anytime. So give the broccoli slaw or the kale slaw a try. You can add it to smoothies, salads. You can add it to omelets in the morning because it is important to have vegetables all the time. Okay. Next up are your dark leafy greens. So we want things like the kale and the collards and the turnip greens. We want our spinach. We want all of those good things in our diet. Can you ever eat too much kale or collards or spinach? No, you can't. But it just depends on health conditions and always gauge how your body is feeling. If you feel bloated, if you feel, how do you feel? If you can eat all the kale and collards you want and there's nothing wrong, you don't feel anything wrong, then you're doing great. If you're on certain meds, though, like any of the warfarins or any of the blood thinners, you have to be mindful because there's vitamin K in there. And vitamin K acts as a blood thinner. can act in it can act against the blood thinners. So we have a variety of minerals and vitamins, which are different and some of the same as our cruciferous vegetables. So that's why you want variety in your diet, because you might be missing out on one if you just eat the same thing over and over again. So some of our phytonutrients, look at that, different set. Lutein and xanthanine. Ooh, good for your eyesight. Chlorophyll, good for oxygen through the blood. Quercetin, excellent as an anti-inflammatory. So if you have allergies. And this last one, I had to look it up because I was like, I've never heard of that before. But we want to have it in our diet because it acts as an anti-cancer phytonutrient. And a lot of times we say anti-cancer, it means that there are times when things can interrupt cellular death and how cells die. Apoptosis is how they call it, what they call it. So we want to make sure that we're keeping ourselves healthy. And this last one that I can't pronounce, it starts with a K, helps with that. So keep eating your spinach. Does it matter what time of day you take the calcium? No, but again, main keep watch over how you feel. Certain vitamins can upset your stomach, especially if you're taking it on an on an empty stomach. Um, you've had too much food. It just depends on how you feel. The time of day, for me, I take a my well, I don't take a multivitamin. I take a B vitamin complex at night. I like to take it at night. That's when because then I can rest on it and I feel good with that just not going anywhere. Hopefully it's doing a lot of work. But I could take it any time of the day. All right. Let's see. I think yes, magnesium is an excellent, and I think it's kind of like the mineral of the moment. We go through these periods. I don't know if you remember during COVID, zinc was the thing. Now magnesium is all up. But magnesium is great for different purposes. Magnesium is great for energy, but magnesium can also help with sleep. There are different forms of magnesium. Some are more absorptive than others. There's magnesium that will help with constipation. And then there's magnesium that you could use that will help with just general health, muscle spasms, those types of things. I really like to take mineral drops. I take a mineral drops called Concentrace Minerals, and they contain magnesium, a little potassium. I didn't put them out. I should have put that out. And a few other items, but I just put a few drops in the water before I go to bed, and I take it at night. So yes, magnesium is great for heart health. We want to make sure that we're all of these, but that's the thing. I don't want you to walk away thinking, oh, magnesium for heart health. I want you to think in totality because that's kind of how we're marketed that this one is great, this one, but it's all of them together that help make the body healthy. So by having a great and balanced diet, it allows you to get all of these things. And then the body, because you don't want to be out of balance, you want to be in balance. So let's see. You could take magnesium at night. Um, you can take magnesium during the day. If you think about an electrolyte, magnesium and sodium, and those are kind of in like our Gatorade. So it just depends on how you're using it. That's why this is a big topic. And while we're kind of focusing on food, and then again, I recommend a multivitamin. I recommend a multivitamin and hopefully one that has zinc and vitamin C. And I'll share my vitamin that I like to take. So with um, that in mind, next up superfood is the berries. Now, anybody want to guess why I like berries? Who wants to answer the question as to why I like berries? What do they have that makes them so fantastic? Put it in the Q&A and tell me why berries are so fantastic. Now, all of these foods have it, but just as little golden jewels of nuggets of wonderfulness. Anybody want to guess? It's that answer that I will take at any time. So far, I don't see it in the chat. I don't see
There's
it.
one. There's one in there for
There
someone.
is. Let's
Yep.
see.
Deborah said antioxidants.
Antioxidants, yes, but the answer is fiber. Anytime I ask, what is the answer? Say fiber. You'll be right. The one thing about our berries is that they offer us the highest bang for our buck as far as fiber, and they are tasty, they are abundant, they can go in anything, and we want to eat our berries. Raspberries have the highest fiber. Okay, I know somebody's wrinkling up their nose out there that they don't like raspberries, but strawberries too. You know, your blackberries, all of those wonderful, beautiful jewels. I call them the jewels of our produce world. Pomegranate. I know it's not a berry, but I just had to throw that in because that's like jewelry in your bowl. So versatile. We want those in our diet. Look at all that. You get vitamin C, a little bit of vitamin K, some folate, right? Some manganese, very hard to get in a lot of foods. Potassium and magnesium, they're abundant. They're everywhere. We're usually getting enough of that if if your diet is balanced enough. Because a lot of proteins have magnesium in it too. So, but manganese, it's hard to get. So, eat your berries because you get all of those wonderful anthocyanins. Oh, the favorite only comes from the purples and the reds and the blues. And we have resveratrol. That's one of those ones you always hear about in wine, but it really comes from the berries. Flavonoids do a lot of work, and that other one that starts with the E that I have to learn how to pronounce. But they are all polyphenols that help with our antioxidant functions, and they do a lot of great work. But most importantly, they have fiber. So these berries, great for heart health and brain health. I wanted to point that out. Brain health. So if we're not getting enough, remember all of these vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients, polyphenols, they are working at the cellular level. They are working down at the deepest level. They're working at the point where your body doesn't care if you like it or not, right? I don't like broccoli. Well, your body, once you chew it up and swallow it, doesn't care if you liked it. Now it's going to put it to work. Now the nutrition will be pulled out and it will start to work at a cellular level. So when we want to be healthier, we want to eat foods that are protective at the cellular level for our heart, for our brain, for our musculature, and all of these things will really be helpful. Vitamins and minerals are great, and then we want to dive even deeper and think, what else am I feeding my body? And through color, you feed them phytonutrients. All right. So with that, next up, we've got, if I click the button, did I click the button? Oh, okay. This was my question. When do you include fruits and vegetables in your day? This is very important. I want you to think about how often you include fruits and vegetables in your day. How often do you include fruits and vegetables in your day? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go ahead, Deborah. I love it. I love it. Let's see, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anytime. I always like to leave folks with, don't think about meal times. Think about meals. Because when we think about meal times, it kind of puts a thought of what that should look like in your brain. So when I say breakfast, you get a feeling of, and you get a thought in your brain what breakfast should look like. When I say lunch, lunch has a certain look and feel to it. We are marketed in those ways. That's how meals are presented to us: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's fine. But I want you to just think of meals, because no breakfast police are going to come to your house because you had a little bit of last night's dinner for your first meal of the day. Usually, last night's dinner contained a little bit more antioxidants than what we have for breakfast. A little bit more vitamins and minerals than what we have normally for breakfast as we run out the door with a croissant in our hand. So just putting that out there, give it a try, add some vegetables to your morning, start your day with a superfood. And it can be something like those berries. Start your day with the superfood. Don't wait to the end of the day, because by then the body's like, wait a minute, where's my nutrition? You haven't given me any. Maybe you had a sandwich at lunchtime. So think about it through the day, look down at your plate and go, where are my superfoods? Where is the nutrition for the cells of my body? Just saying. Everybody out there has preferences, and I'm going to leave it at that. All right. So next up, we've got, because this is a big one, especially for snacks. So we're kind of moving into those fats, the areas that have kind of like those fat soluble vitamins with our nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds. Mother Nature was doing it when she made the nuts and seeds. So tons and tons of nutrition in small packages. Great for snacking, great for on the go. We want these nuts and seeds. If you're able to eat them, I realize not everybody can eat nuts. And I understand and hear that. If you have an allergy, by all means, please don't eat nuts or seeds. If you have an allergy to anything that is on this list, please don't eat it. Because again, we need to listen to our bodies and know what is best for our bodies. But I want to point out the benefits in the mineral area of nuts and seeds. High incidence of magnesium, zinc, and iron. Fantastic way to get it in a small package. Something that you can snack on throughout the day and have wonderful, wonderful vitamin E, which is great for our skin. It's great for so many things. So we always want to know, how can I get great skin and hair? We have a lot of B2 in our nuts and seeds, as well as our folate. Now, this is one of those areas where fats come into play. We talked about that. And our nuts and seeds generally give us I'm going to try and say it. I'm going to get it so I can say it right, because I usually butcher it. Give me one sec. I don't want to butcher this. Of course, I can't grab it. Okay. Alpha linoleic acid. I hope I didn't butcher it. Is one of those fatty acids. because I can't see it. It's not up on my screen. Linoleic acid. So that's one of those fatty acids. So fats break down to different fatty acids. So we want to make sure we have variety in our diet of those. Nuts and seeds offer us a variety. Avocados offer us a different variety and a different composition, not just one. They all have a bunch of them together, but sometimes they have a little more of one or another. Olive oil is another one. And so we want to make sure we get a variety of fatty acids in the diet, grapeseed oil, all of those things. They have a variety of fatty acids in and contain. So we want a variety of fats in our diet as well. In nuts and seeds, let us have that. So with that, oh, there it is. Alpha linoleic acid. See, I was already prepared because I knew I wasn't going to know how to say it. So with that, and you have some things in here that also phenolics and ligands. I know, science, it's hard. Um, but it's fascinating. So all of these foods have antioxidant cellular protective qualities. And sometimes things might get beat down on social media, but you got to eat a lot of it in order for it to happen. So don't leave things out and be your own advocate. And when you see something on social media, go look it up. Don't just take that person's word for it. Don't even take my word for it. Go look it up and see what works best for you. Because you may be a diabetic, the person who's talking may be trying to run a marathon, and you have two different needs nutritionally. So keep that in mind. You are you and they are them. All right. So we want to add these to everything, but not too much because you don't want too much. But they're great ways to add nutrition and protein, which I did not mention on here, which is another one of our macronutrients. Protein, fats, and carbs are our macronutrients. So we want them in our diet because they provide the vitamins and minerals that we need. So that's kind of like the hierarchy. So we want to make sure that we're getting them in the diet. So just some ways, you could put them in the freezer too. Storage is important with our nuts. We don't want them to not be stored properly because the almonds, sure. Somebody said, where's the almonds? Almonds in there, yes. All nuts, all seeds. The slide is only this big. Sorry. So, but we want them all in the diet. So you are right. I did not mean to leave out our almonds because everybody loves them. And I see beans and legumes, and hold on to your hat because that's coming up. So with that, yes, I see lots of good things. Thank you, Deborah. So we want to make sure that our nuts and seeds are in our diet if you can eat those items. All right. Somebody said legumes and beans. And legumes are called, the fancy name is pulses. Ooh, that's the fancy name for the class of plants that contain legumes. So beans, lentils, peas, peanuts, alfalfa. Alfalfa is one of the most nutrient dense items you can eat, as well as watercress. Anybody ever had watercress? It's very bitter. Lots of things that are really good for us are very bitter. Just is what it is. So when we have our legumes, look at all that wonderfulness in there. Iron, magnesium, potassium, zinc. And if you notice, everything has a little bit of magnesium and potassium. So if you have a balanced diet, you're getting it. You are getting it. So taking extra sometimes may not be as necessary as you thought. But another one that has that manganese. Very good, very good. And zinc. So we want to get these in the diet because they are also full of, what's the question? What's the answer to the question? Beans and legumes are full of such wonderfulness. What could it B that I am looking for? Anybody want to give it to me? Anybody? Chickpeas. Yes, love chickpeas. What could beans and legumes have in abundance? Come on, come on, come on.
People are saying fiber so
Are
far.
they saying fiber? Yes.
Fiber.
Yes. Fiber. If you don't walk away with anything, if you are eating a fiber-filled diet, you are getting not all, most of your vitamins and minerals. And you're getting quality, nutrient-dense carbohydrate. Yay, fiber. So eat some legumes, lentils, beans, whatever your thing is, eat them. Because they also have their own phytonutrients. See? So that's why it's important to have a variety in your diet. Because then if you're not eating your beans, you're missing out on your, don't make me say it. Don't make me butcher it. Saponins. Oh, right? So we want those in our diet. Very, very important because, again, all of these items offer a different class of antioxidant. And we want to try to get at least a half a cup of beans a day is really all you need. You can have more, but it gives great fiber in a variety of ways. Um, and this is helpful with our beans, those phytonutrients that you see there on the screen, great for cholesterol reduction. So let's get them in. Get some beans in. Anti-inflammatory and help with cholesterol reduction. All right. Thank you for answering fiber. All right, earlier we had our avocados. And so much. These are just fantastic foods. Who remembers when people would say, don't eat avocados, they're bad for you, they're full of fat? No, eat avocados. And they come in their own container. You could just sprinkle a little goodness on top and scoop it right on out of the nice little bowl slash shell that they come in, full of everything you need. And they're even high in protein. Great fats, great vitamins and mineral composition, and good protein. And they have, who wants to put it in the chat for me? They have tons of it. If you notice when you scoop out an avocado and you see all those strings sometimes, that is fiber. And we want that in our diet. Beans, any kind of beans, are great for cholesterol reduction. Anything with fiber is great for cholesterol reduction. But beans are great because we don't do a lot of extra. When we have oatmeal, it has fiber, but we do a lot of extra to our oatmeal. There's a lot of things that can get in the way of things with that's something like oatmeal. So just be mindful of keeping things simple. And there are those monounsaturated fats that I talked about earlier, the different types of fats. So we want those in our diet. We want those in our diets. So another thing, because of the fiber, our avocados can support heart health as well. There's lots of ways to do it. Don't just think there's one way to do it because that's what you saw on TV. There's many different ways, and a balanced diet is one of those ways. So we want to add our avocados to everything and put them in the refrigerator to keep them longer. So if you get them, a lot of times now they'll have in the store separated out the ripe and the not so ripe, not ripe. So if you get the not ripe ones, throw them in the refrigerator. They will hold. And then when you're ready to eat it, like a day or two before, take them out. The refrigerator is the best place to keep your avocados because then they won't go. Some people say, oh, and my avocados, they're going bad too fast. put them in the refrigerator. All right. Salmon. I'm going to probably leave us here with the salmon, our last vitamin D and fat soluble item. We want this in our diet. Salmon, I know some people don't like fish, but if you like tuna fish, it's interesting. Some people will eat tuna fish, but they won't eat like a salmon fillet, and that's okay because those folks still get their vitamin D in a can of salmon or a can of tuna, all of those things. So we want to make sure we are getting quality omega-3s and vitamin D because vitamin D is hard to get from food. Usually it's added in. Salmon is one of the few foods that kind of naturally will help the body convert so that you can have vitamin D. All right, I am going to do a little skipping because I'm going to go to the end because we are coming up on time. Told you, this is a big topic. So if you give me a second, I am going to go forward just a bit so you can see some of the other things, but I'm going to pause here. Our phytonutrients also provide adaptogens. So adaptogens are very interesting. They help with our mood. So things like ashwagandha, things like and our immune system, like the elderberry, all of those teas that people from back in the day drank or are drinking now, very important to health and can have an impact on your mood, your sleep. Think chamomile. Those are adaptogens. So they help us to be better, feel better. Um, and lastly, our nootropics. They help with our brain function. So things like caffeine makes you feel awake. Omega-3 fatty acids are great for our brain health. There are many, many other types of foods as well as supplements that you could take to help with brain health. So with that, I am going to pause and always super eating, balanced, half plate produce, quarter plate fiber, quarter plate protein. And if you're going to have some dairy that you enjoy, try to make some of it probiotic rich, like a yogurt. All right. So with that, I wanted to invite you to join us on our cook along. If you're interested, take a capture of the QR code there. We have tons of classes online. We do this. And the Healthier Together Healthy Living team at Giant is really, really happy to help you and connect with you. So hopefully you learned a little bit about the big topic that is vitamins and minerals. So thank you for having me.